listening to Pipebomb Radio with your host, Felix Omeno.
Be the man! You gotta beat the man!
Austin James.
Hang on a second, fella.
And Nate Milton.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Welcome, everybody, to Pipebomb Radio. You have to excuse my voice. As you guys heard me last week, and throughout Nachi Mama's radio show, I had been kind of with the flu most of this week. So if I sound like Barry White, baby, then you know that I'm still recovering from a cold. Had a long day, sitting down and time to chat some wrestling. Is the road to WrestleMania. The first stop on the road to WrestleMania 32 is tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Only available on the WWE Network for how much, Austin? $9.99. I'm sorry, Michael Cole. Austin, too, I guess. But tonight our discussion is going to be about the Royal Rumble pay-per-view itself. You know, there are matches that are signed. Of course, with the Royal Rumble match, it's every man for himself. Unpredictability is always running rampant during the Rumble times. So you just never know who will show up. Could it be an old-timer? Could it be some newcomers from the NXT? A lot of things have been happening, folks, and we're going to talk all about that tonight, as well as the go-home show for Raw last Monday night. And while we wait for Nate to call in, I know I'm being joined by everybody's favorite, well, maybe except for mine, the one and the only, Austin James. He has returned. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing fantastic. The one and only Austin James. That's a great introduction. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I was in Campo Grande, Brazil with my good friend Tyler. Tyler Bree. Yeah, that's right, Felix. Selfie stick.
Oh, God.
You need to get one.
It seems that I do, because considering I see so many people using a big stick with their cell phone, and I know it wasn't so they could read their messages from far, far away, although it would seem. See, I'm from the old school when they were using pagers and cell phone, selfie sticks. I don't know nothing about those. What do you think about that, Nate? Did you ever use the selfie stick as a young man when cell phones were becoming popular?
Absolutely not. You know, I still don't do much in the way of selfies. I think that, you know, it's a man code violation. Grown men shouldn't be out here taking selfies, unless that's your gimmick on a wrestling program.
Wait a minute.
Well, you know, speaking of that, we were just talking about Tyler Breeze.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me that you don't use selfie sticks to read your text messages from afar? That's what I thought they were used for. That's what I use mine for.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, I like a challenge in my life. Maybe you guys aren't used to that. Yeah.
So how was your week been going, Nate? You been doing good?
Oh, it's good out here on the East Coast, man. It's a little cold. Most of us are covered in snow, but it was a good week nonetheless. Yeah. So, you know, I figured that this is a good weekend for the snow, because I plan on doing nothing but watching football and wrestling tomorrow.
Oh, and let me tell you, we've got a bunch of stories to talk about after we do this little Royal Rumble show. New topics to come up with, that have come up over the last couple of weeks. And also, folks, it is the day. We were supposed to have this last week, but obviously we had Austin from his remote location, wherever the hell he is most of the time, tell us that he has accepted Pat liked him. Saul's challenge, the Berg, to a contest that's going to come up the night before Fastlane, which, if I'm not mistaken, Nate was telling me Fastlane is going to be the February pay-per-view, at least until further notice. So we're going to talk more about that in the show as well. Going to give our predictions to who's going to win the Rumble. What kind of surprises do y'all think we might see? Because that's the good thing about the Royal Rumble. You just never know who you're going to see. Nate?
No, you don't.
Well, with the exception of Austin, obviously we know where he stands. But as far as Monday Night Raw goes, last Monday night, what did you think, man? I mean, Was it a good go-home show? Did it seem a little too oversaturated with one thing or another, I guess?
No, Raw.
That's what I'm talking about, Raw, for a second here, then we'll jump right into the Rumble now. So what did you think of Raw, Nate?
I thought Raw was an okay show. It wasn't a great go-home show, but I think the key points were made. My big issue with it, Felix, was that, and it's an issue with this whole story that we've been told about Roman Reigns as he heads into the Rumble. They've done so much in terms of focusing on Roman and focusing on his quest against the Authority that everyone else's Rumble story, pretty much other than Brock Lesnar, has kind of been put to the side if talked about at all. And so I think one of the big things every year about the Rumble is, you got a bunch of different stories and a bunch of different potential matchups. And this year, everything's kind of they've put all their eggs in the Roman Reigns basket.
Okay. And Austin, did you actually catch Monday's Raw, or were you out in your seasoned home, wherever it might be, wherever the hell do you stay? In the outer limits of your mind?
Yeah, it's and I'll make these places up, sorry. But I mean, Monday's Raw, I absolutely called it. I thought it was probably the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. Probably in the top 5 of wrestling shows I've ever seen. And Roman, Vince McMahon, Vince is such an impartial person in everyday life, giving everybody the same fair opportunity, to go out and really get that brass ring. And Roman Reigns had that opportunity. I mean, he was put in this what is it called? I don't know the exact, you put on these balls in the spit and you spin it up. I don't know what they call the actual, thing, prop. But whatever it is, they had a roll of the dice, and Roman Reigns was the guy to get number 1 in the Royal Rumble. And that's what you have to do when it's 1 versus all. And tomorrow night he's going to be up against 29 other men. And I don't know what's going to happen. Okay.
I don't know what, like I said, you're obviously from the outer limits of your own mind. To say that little lottery wasn't rigged, come on. Any regular fan would know. Wink, wink. We're making your life hell, Roman. You got to show us that you're worth it. But also, guys, just wanted to let you know that we've got the gentleman from Booking the Territory, Austin, one of Austin's best friends.
Oh, God bless his heart.
Old Mike Mills. How you doing, Mike?
Apparently, Austin's been getting hit in the head with a lot of baloney lately with the stuff he's talking about right now.
Oh Lord! The bird ain't even here yet. But anyways, guys, let's jump into this because we got a lot of things to talk about this next for the show tonight. Let's break it in there because if you guys noticed in the looks like it's the pre-show, something just got thrown together for an opportunity to be a part of the Rumble, which I would think that why not have a battle royal? Maybe have the final 2 be the ones that go into the Rumble instead of your typical fatal 4-way, which is what we got. We've got Darren Young and Damian Sandow, of all people, taking on the Dudley Boys versus the Ascension versus Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Austin, since you jumped in here and chimed in at the very first, what are the odds of any of these 4 actually making it in? And if so, who do you think we should bet on that'll make it in?
Those are all great competitors and everything, but I think the team that's going to win, that's going to pull it out, it's got to be the team of Team 3D. Team 3D has been through a lot, but they've never been in the Royal Rumble at the same time. I don't think Devon's ever been in the Royal Rumble yet. I know the first time Bully Ray was in the Royal Rumble was last year, ever. And if you gotta believe that, come on, it has to be Team 3D.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that, yes, you can say the possibility of a Bubba Ray against a Devon, kind of a la Demolition, first 2 in the Rumble years and years ago. But Mike, who do you think out of these teams that just got thrown into this match will come out and be able to qualify for the Rumble Do you think that we go with the guys who are the veterans in the match? Maybe somebody that kind of pulls it out where nobody expects to see going in there. Who do you think is going to be the two that go into the Rumble in this match?
Oh, give me the Ascension. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I believe that because it seems like they're the underdogs.
The greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah. Maloney must have hit him in the head again. I'd have to go with I'm going to go with Mark Henry and Swagger. The only reason I say that is I don't know. One of these days, Mark Henry's going to decide to hang him up, and he's getting close to the end. And who knows? Maybe it's his last one, and they put him in.
Oh, that guy's a strong man.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a good 20-year run in the company. You know, sexual chocolate to the Olympic powerlifting, world's strongest man, whatever you want to call him. His affairs with Mae Young are legendary. God rest her soul.
Feel it,
Nate.
Hold on.
I want to get. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I got to hand it to you. Your son looks handsome.
Nate, let's not talk about that riffraff no more. Who are these four teams you think we got going? We've got one that says Mark Henry and Swagger, one that says the Dudley Boys. What about your take, Nate?
I think it's a good idea. It's a good concept. Unfortunately, I think that a couple of these teams don't need to be there because you don't actually believe Darren Young and Sandow are going to win or the Ascension is going to win. I think it comes down to either Henry and Swagger or the Dudleys, and I'm going to go with the Dudleys because I think that this is going to set up their breakup. In the Rumble, something's going to happen, and we're going to get some type of beef between the two of them, and that'll set off Bully Ray on his single heels run, hopefully.
Okay. Mike, I want you to do me a favor, Mike. Grab a pen if you have one. Go to your calendar and write down Austin and Nate agreed about something on Pipebomb Radio. That just doesn't ever happen. Like I said, maybe Nate has wandered into the outer reaches of his mind, because if he was in Austin's mind, he would never return. But it's a possibility. You know, that's a very strong possibility. They had been leading to that possibility of having a Bully Ray type run that he had in TNA with the WWE, which it proved to be successful because he did have a good run with it. That most didn't think we'd ever see Devon again. But if I had to throw my name in there with this, why didn't they put, of all teams, maybe they take out the Ascension or the Young and Sandow and put in, what about Mojo Rawley and Long Island IZ, Zack Ryder? Why weren't they in it? They could have done something. There you go. All right. Or even, what was he, the two guys that are with NXT? Oh, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to have to add Nate or Austin.
Chad Gable and Jason Jordan.
Those are the ones I was thinking of. Yes.
Good.
You know, throw a wrench into it. Make it surprising, because if you're just going to put these four together in the ring and let them wrestle,
if you throw a wrench in there,
you're going to want it.
Surprising.
Yeah. But going into the actual Royal Rumble show, we've got a few title matches. In fact, all title matches signed up. And the New Day take on the Usos for the tag team titles. Was kind of, but you take on each of them. These guys were the last ones in line, so they got their match. But with the amount of momentum, we've said this many times over the last several months, with the amount of momentum they have, I can't see them losing the straps. But on the other hand, people like when they're pursuing the titles, because once they get them, they're that much more annoying. I don't know. Nate, I mean, do we have new tag team champions leaving the show tomorrow night?
I think they've kind of worked themselves into a corner, because it's still too early, I think, to take the belts off the New Day. But the Usos need a win. Like, they can't keep trying and failing. But I think they will try and fail again. maybe through some skullduggery, through some shenanigans, and the New Day find a way to walk away with the belts and keep this thing going for another month.
Okay. And Mike, your thoughts?
I'm kind of tired of seeing this battle with these two teams, but I think I'd have to agree with Nate that it's going to end up being the New Day. I just don't see him taking it off of them. It's just I don't know. This matchup's gotten stale, so I'm hoping they bring something new to this thing on Sunday. I don't know how they'll do it, but that's my hope.
Okay. And Austin, are you a New Day rock? So do you have your unicorn bandana thing on your head? I bet you do. I bet you're wearing it now.
I think history has just been made because I agree with Mike Mills. I agree with Nate Milton. The power of positivity will prevail tomorrow night over the Usos. Oh, that tastes in my mouth every single time I say that. Maybe because they're crazy. And they're Samoan too, and they're probably the cousins of the Rock, just like anybody that's Samoan. You know, my friend next door, he's Samoan, and he's also a cousin of the Rock, so I guess everybody's related to him.
Okay. I kind of had to move away from that because I don't try to think of how Austin thinks because then my eyes would cross and my head would explode. But I almost see this is another one. I kind of want to see a wrench thrown into the plans out of these two, and I'll say why because there hasn't been any tag teams that we need to pay attention to, with the exception of the New Day. Excuse me. Are they going to put Team Bad in there? Maybe as their next tag team match for Fastlane or WrestleMania? It'd be a first, but I can't see the New Day losing. I can't.
Hey Felix, Felix. Let me say this. Do you notice something about the tag team division? To me, when Tyson Kidd got hurt and Cesaro and Kidd, I don't want to say broke up, but they had to part due to Tyson Kidd's injuries.
Sure.
To me, the tag division, I thought it was on an uptick at that moment, like before he got hurt, and ever since then, if you ask me, the New Day is all they have. And I mean, one of the Usos was hurt for a majority of that time too, but the tag division was getting hot. And then when Kidd got hurt, if you go backward in time, it's settled down since. And I agree with you. They're gonna have to do something. There's gonna be some kind of twist that has to happen to bring some interest to how that thing ends, or how they do the finish to that match.
What about if they were going to make the Usos turn heel this time? I mean, they started out as a tag team with Tamina as heels. I mean, they weren't very popular. I mean, they were getting notoriety with their association with Jimmy Snuka's daughter and Jimmy, who I think walked to the ring with them at one point. But I mean, I don't see anything happening.
I don't think they turn them heel though. I don't think they turn them heel.
Well, it's just there hasn't been many tag teams to really step it up. Nate, I mean, do you think we might see a new tag team emerge after maybe before, during, or after the match and lay claim to being the next contenders for that title?
I don't think so. I think we're, for better or worse, this is what we're stuck with until WrestleMania. I think we won't see any new teams, whether it's Gable and Jordan or Enzo and Big Cass from NXT or anybody like that, or Gallows and Anderson from New Japan. Like I think that's going to take place, in the lead up to WrestleMania or right after WrestleMania. So we're kind of stuck with the Usos and the New Day and the Lucha Dragons, who we've only got one Lucha Dragon, and any other makeshift team they can kind of put together. So we'll see what they do. I think that ultimately what I like to see is the New Day lose the belts only to elevate Big E. Like, I think Big E needs to start becoming the star of the show, and they need to have a little bit of more serious edge to it, because as thin as the roster is, like, I almost think he's being wasted as part of a tag team.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he'd be Vince's stereotypical big monster heels that are dominating everybody and be contenders for the world title a la 1980s, with the guys like King Kong or Andre or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or Johnny Gonzalez.
Maybe it's time to pull Big E away. But Austin, do you think we'll have new tag team champions tomorrow night?
No, I don't understand what all this talk about the New Day losing their titles is coming from. The reason why Tyson Kidd and Cesaro broke up and had to part ways is because they didn't have a positive mindset. Okay, that positive mindset, they would have been back the next thing. Tyson Kidd, I don't know what happened to Tyson Kidd. I know he was injured, but he would have came back from his injury the very following day if he would have had the positive mindset, which obviously he didn't.
You could say that again.
Exactly. You can say that again.
But the next one, this title hasn't really meant much, if any, really at all in years. And there have been good champions, don't get me wrong, but for the United States title, being with Alberto, when he returned, that was a definite shock, which is what we had needed. It was good to have him back. But there's another one that lacks talent it lacks enough talent to be in the mix of this type of match. Kalisto takes advantage with Sin Cara's injury to step up as a singles competitor. So far, he's done pretty good for himself. He's a little half pint, but he's a tough little guy. But I can only see Kalisto coming out of this as a champion. I don't see Alberto really needing it anymore. It was just something to keep him afloat, but he can do fine without it. It wouldn't hurt him to lose it. Austin, do you think that we have a new United States champion? Do you see maybe the possibility of a feud starting at the Rumble between the new champion and the new contender, or even these two going until WrestleMania?
No, I think El Del Rio needs to squish that mosquito worse than he did the past few weeks. Man, isn't he just an annoying? He's a pest, Kalisto. He also, what he needs to do? Alberto needs to take that guy's mask. Take his mask off, he needs to burn it, and then throw it into the little kids in there in the crowd. That'll really put a smile on their parents' face. You know how that is.
It made me just think about the fact that I'm having maybe them going one more match until WrestleMania. This one, if they put this stipulation on for WrestleMania, to have it be a hair versus mask contest for the title. It's been done. If done right, it can be successful. You look at Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. They had an incredible match at Halloween Havoc back in 1997, I want to say. It was a hair versus mask. Obviously, we know the outcome of that match, and it's still regarded as one of the best matches in the history of WCW, at least in my opinion. But, Nate, do you think we have a new U.S. champion? Is this another title that you think should be fine to where it is? Or could this be the first title change you see?
There's so much when it comes to the U.S. title and when it comes to Del Rio since he's been back, Brother Felix, because I think that if this company is really serious about kind of reaching out to that Latino market, I think they'd be smart to do what you said and do a hair versus mask match, or even do it like Del Rio beats Kalisto by some type of shady deal at Royal Rumble, and they have a rematch at Fastlane, and he does the same thing, and finally he's like, okay, if you want one more chance, SA, you got to put your mask on the line, and then that's when Kalisto gets his big moment in Texas Stadium in front of a crowd that I think would love to see that. But I don't know if they're that serious about, reaching out to that market or presenting Kalisto as anything more than some kind of fly-by-night little mid-card guy. But I think he's got potential. Like, he could really be a Rey Mysterio-like figure for this generation, especially the kids.
They need to bring back Super Porky, and they have to bring. He is the greatest wrestler I've ever seen in my entire life in terms of Latino wrestlers, and they need to bring him back.
Super Porky is no Silver King. Don't get it twisted.
I just feel like I had to quote Bobby Heenan here for saying who when he was talking about Sean Mooney. I'm like, who in the hell is he talking? Who? Anyways, that might as well put Hornswoggle into this and make it a cruiserweight matchup, or need to bring back the cruiserweights again, or have a division set up for the midgets, the little people, the gnomes, whatever you want to call them. But,
I'd like to see this go somewhere, Felix, but I got a feeling that this is just biding time until Sin Cara gets back. So I think this is just a little side feud, and Del Rio wins, and Kalisto kind of gets his 15 minutes of fame and goes back to where he was before.
Okay. And Mike, I mean, obviously we know where everybody else stands. I mean, we obviously didn't think the tag titles would switch hands. Do you feel the same thing as far as the United States title goes? It's the same question has to be asked. Could there be a new debut after the match? Could there be a new person in the stable for the little clique? What is the name of that clique? I swear I want to call them the Job Squad 2.0, but that's actually the Outcast. That's another story.
Social outcast.
Don't be a bully.
Do you think we have a new champion?
If they do switch it again, I'm going to wonder why they even switched it to Kalisto and then switched it back to Del Rio to only switch it back to Kalisto. That's the thing. And then if they do switch it again, they're going to have to do what Nate's talking about, where they throw in a new twist to it to keep it going. Because if you switched it all those times, you just made the belt irrelevant to me. It's like, okay, we're doing this 50-50 thing. We're going to flip back and forth. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. So I think Del Rio keeps it just because of that. I don't see them flipping it back. But if they do flip it back, they're going to have to do something to add something to the feud. But I'm going to go with Del Rio overall. I don't think they flip it.
Okay. And these next two title matches have been very, very personal. We go with the Divas champion, Charlotte.
Speaking of personal, hold on. Time out, Felix. Time out. I gotta ask because I think Brother Mike might be thinking the same thing. Are you at the club right now, brother?
No, man, that ain't me. Dude, I'm a married man with two young kids. I don't do clubs no more, Nate.
You don't say, Felix, you got that club music in the background.
Oh, my bad. No, I got to turn that down. I forgot what I was. You can hear the background. My bad, folks. You heard the background.
I figured that was Austin slinging baloney. You know what I'm saying? Throwing it up against the wall.
Playing naked.
Wow, we got somebody covering for Saul here.
Hey.
Well, Saul's
Austin seems to know how to book the territory from what he told me on the last Pipebomb radio, so I figure he knows how to book it all, including the baloney up on the wall.
If anybody needs baloney,
and he rhymes
booking
too.
The territory can make somebody hungry. I would imagine. I mean, it's a big job to book the entire territory. God. I pray for
all right, children. All right now. Let's keep this moving. We don't need to be stirring the pot. We're waiting for the Berg to call in. But in the matchup with Charlotte against Becky Lynch, it was obvious with the process of elimination that they were going to go down the line. Obviously, it was Paige. Then it was, of course, now Becky Lynch. Could it be Sasha Banks next? Could it be a fatal four-way between the four horsewomen, and they bring Bayley into the mix? You know, have you been enjoying this feud between these two? The level of the fact that it's becoming more like Rick's becoming more of a manager, and she's the female version of Ric Flair. Pretty soon we'll see her wearing robes too. But Nate, I mean, don't you miss that women's title instead of the Divas title? Diva is just not many lady wrestlers would like to be known as divas.
None of them do, Felix, anymore.
I'm sure of that. But, I mean, do we have a new champion?
I haven't talked to one lately who has.
Nate, do we leave it with a new does Royal Rumble end with a new Divas champion, or does she retain until WrestleMania?
I got to say, Felix, we are going to leave Royal Rumble with the same champion that entered Royal Rumble, and that is one Charlotte Flair. Because as much as I like what they've done with Becky lately, like they've finally given her a purpose. They've made her this really great babyface that you can get behind. I loved her promo on Monday night that got Ric Flair to agree to the rematch. Like, what they've been doing, I'd say the last 3 weeks has been really good, even though before that it was all over the place with, the girls switching sides back and forth and bringing up the Reed stuff, which was unnecessary. But like the last month or so, they've really found a great story, and I think that there's a lot more story to tell. And I think that in terms of WrestleMania, I think we're going to end up with a three-way for the belt between Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky. So I think that Charlotte wins this match, gets a rematch. Maybe Becky gets a rematch at Fastlane, or maybe she has a match with Sasha. But somehow or another, I think we're going to end up with that three-way at WrestleMania.
And Mike, I mean, Charlotte's been pretty dominant. People are thinking that she was just a fluke champion. With this new change in attitude and signing up with her dad now, we're seeing a whole new version of Charlotte, and I just can't see her losing until WrestleMania. Do you think Becky has any chance of getting this title during WrestleMania season, let alone tomorrow night?
No, I don't think Becky wins it tomorrow night. I think Charlotte retains. The thing that I'm actually almost more intrigued by with this is, y'all notice them teasing that the breakup between Rick and Charlotte last week with the promo? Like, because Rick was the one that signed Charlotte up for the match, so to say. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, we're Flairs, we fight. I don't remember his exact words. And I don't know, I kind of found that intriguing. Like, I got this feeling they're about to split them. I don't think they're going to be together much longer. And
that's interesting. Because, Mike, real quick, I think one of the issues with Flair that they're still having, even though I love what he's doing with Charlotte, is that even though they're supposed to be quote-unquote bad guys, people can't boo Ric Flair at this stage. Like, whatever he says, we're going to cheer for it because it's Ric Flair. So maybe they do need to get him away from her.
And she's a good – her demeanor, the way she carries herself, she could be a great heel, a great female heel, in an unreal fashion. So if they split them, I'm good with it, but I'm just like, I don't know if most people caught that on Monday. They're teasing it. They're easily teasing it. Because Charlotte looked at Rick like, did you really just do that? Sign me up for a match on Sunday? And he did. He was like, we're Flairs, we fight, or whatever he said. But I still think Charlotte retains, but they're going to split. They're whether it's tomorrow or down the line, they're going to split.
I can't believe that at all, because I didn't see that. I didn't see what you're talking about on Raw, because the love between a father and daughter is inseparable. That's the same thing. I know Rick. Okay, I know Charlotte, and Charlotte's the most dominant women's wrestler of all time. There's nobody that's ever been. Or nobody that's ever going to be as dominant as her, and she's going to come in.
You know what I would like to see? I would love to see the match end with whoever's the winner and the champion. We hear Karma's music. We hear Beth Phoenix music. Two very unlikely sources, but I mean, what if? Maybe they even put on this new monster that they're building in NXT. Is it Nia Jax? I hope I said that right.
It's actually one of the big stable, the Rock's cousins. Big stable in history.
That very good possibility. We could see a debut of a new challenger for Charlotte or Becky, whoever wins it. But as far as that goes, my money's on Charlotte only because there's nobody else that could really. Nikki's gone. Brie is not really wanting to be champion. The rest of the talent, I just can't see him doing it. Charlotte would be the logical choice to go with. But as far as the other one that we're talking about that was a very personal match is becoming more and more heated as time goes on between Dean Ambrose, who is a champion, the IC champ, and Kevin Owens. it's actually interesting to know how these two are working together. I actually have been enjoying their work. They're both crazy. They both know how to put on a good show. Austin, are you a Owens Fight fan, or are you part of the Lunatic Fringes Asylum, or whatever they call it, the Ambrose Asylum?
No.
There you go.
No, I don't like lunatics. I don't get along with lunatics and everything like that. People, I don't know. I don't know why everybody's laughing. But I mean, people, Dean can be in his asylum. He belongs in one. But Kevin Owens he's a prize fighter, and he's like my good friend Brock, who doesn't fight for free. And he's going to go into the Royal Rumble, and he's going to get his Intercontinental Championship back and bring it back to Canada. Lance Storm and everybody else.
If we could be serious for a moment here. Okay. I like the ending of Raw with Brock in there because he's always the wild card. You just never know where this big man's going to appear and who he's going to take out. Say what now?
You just noticed Brock's wild card?
I did just notice that, yes. But
the guy's a beat.
Yes, I know. I know all too well. But as far as the Royal Rumble match itself, is so much speculation, so many people stirring the pot, so many rumors, if you will, I say with quotes. You don't know who's going to win it. And I think that's what's missing. Because when you have the regular card, the regular array of talent that they normally have, you're throwing out names like a Seth Rollins, John Cena, Randy Orton, who could all win it, but they're out. They're out of action. So now with the new influx of talent that's been coming over, with the debut of Austin Aries, that's a topic we'll talk in just a bit. But obviously we all heard that the WWE have signed a lot of the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys, the Bullet Club members, so forth. And an array of who's who of challengers is going to be in the Rumble. The surprises are always interesting. Do you think we'll see any big surprises this year? Also, who do you guys think will win it? Because you really don't know who could win it. Anybody could win it. Nate, I'm going to start with you. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Let's start with the surprises. I think we might get a returning legend or two, but in terms of big major surprises, I think we get two. And I think it's going to be AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. And I hope that what they do is give them a little showcase within the Rumble match itself where, they just kind of stare down each other and maybe they end up eliminating each other, and that leads to maybe something with AJ and Joe. But I think that's your big surprise. I don't think you want to bring Nakamura in that way. I don't think you want to bring any of the NXT guys up that way because they might get lost in the shuffle. So I think AJ and Joe will probably be your only surprises. In terms of who's going to win the match, I hate to say it, but it's Austin's best friend, his pen pal, Triple H. Triple H is going to win the match. And this gets the wheels in motion for Roman and Triple H at WrestleMania.
Okay. Austin, God help us all for this answer because I'm almost going to think he's going to agree with you on this. And what are your thoughts on the surprises first off, and who's going to win it? Who do you think will win it?
Well, first of all, I definitely want to applaud Mr. McMahon this past Monday night for doing that impartial lottery. Roman Reigns being number one. I guess odds were in his favor. I guess kind of. I mean, but that's what you get. Roman Reigns number one. He's coming in, but he's not going out that way. There's so many things that can happen. There's so many odds and ends to this Royal Rumble. In terms of surprises, the people that might return, I know I've been waiting this for years. The last time she was in the WWE was WrestleMania 24. WrestleMania 24, she was there. But she needs to come back and make her triumphant return and hopefully main event WrestleMania. I'm talking about Kim Kardashian.
Oh, no.
She has such a great career ahead of her. I don't know, like, why hasn't she made any return to WWE? But I think she'd be a great addition to the Rumble. But to really win it all tomorrow night, it has to be the game. Triple H, he's the one, and it's, you know how it is. It's all about the game and how you play it. These guys aren't ready. They don't have a manual to play the game. It's not available. They have it online, I guess. It might be one of those. They don't sell game manuals anymore. They have it on, it's all digital these days. But I know Triple H is, he's going in to win the Rumble, and he's going out to the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, I had to ask, folks, and obviously I knew what Austin's answer was going to be. So, and, I kind of stuck my foot in that one. So, anyways, that with Mike, is it going to be a clean sweep with you? Do you feel that Hunter's going to be one of the surprise entrants? Because they haven't announced him, so it would be a surprise. But do you think he would come in there? I mean, to be honest, there's no point. But that's the rumor. What do you think? Who's going to be the winner? Who do you think will be some of the surprises that we might see? If you haven't any picks, fire away, man. What you think?
I'm going to really agree with Nate because I think the surprise, although if you can really call it that with all the spoilers nowadays and everybody knowing who's signing where and who's going where, I can see AJ Styles, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. That little mix right there would be intriguing. I would kind of actually hope that, I don't know who, but maybe they could pull somebody up from NXT as well, not just Samoa Joe, maybe someone else because they just need the people. As far as who wins, man, Triple H can't help himself. The dude, he can't help himself. He's just got to do it. I really didn't want to believe that about him, that he was like that, but after CM Punk, he had to put him over a few years back, and then the whole video with Sting that I don't even want to watch ever since I've heard Nate explain the way he said, I felt right at the end to shake his hand. Man, come on, please spare us. And so, yeah, it's going to be Triple H. He's going to be the champion.
It's going to be Triple H tomorrow night.
He can't help himself. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's got to put himself over.
Wow. A clean sweep, huh? Well, I'm going to break that sweep. I'll tell you why in a minute here. As far as the surprises, I expect a few. And the only thing that's going to make me sad about this Rumble, the only thing that I can think of right now that'll make me sad that we won't get to see anymore, is when that buzzer rings and you hear them bagpipes and old Hot Rod makes his way down like he did back in, I think it was 2008. Those moments are always awesome to see. But as far as surprises go, I could throw out names like a Jake the Snake Roberts, like one of Austin's favorites, Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Maybe Kevin Nash.
Maybe the Bullet Club. Some of the Bullet Club members, former Bullet Club members, whatever you want to call them, with AJ or Shinsuke Nakamura. I think I want to say. Sound like I'm saying Shinsuke Macaroni. But anyways, I could see those surprises. I could see Samoa Joe in it as a surprise. As far as who could win it, here's the thing. I can't see Hunter winning it, and here's why. They main event WrestleMania. I do believe he will be part of the main event, but I don't believe it'll be for the title. I believe that this match is going to be something that's been building towards this, but the one who leaves with the title, itself, I don't see Roman doing it. If I had to go out on a limb and say it, I could see somebody like, dare I say, I'll go out and say this, AJ Styles. Dare I say, maybe Sheamus. I don't like it, but it's a possibility. I like something that's fresh and different. And that's where I'm going with, because, like I said, Hunter doesn't need a title to be relevant. He's proved himself already as a champion over the last 20 years. He doesn't need a title match. But I could see why he would have to stick his nose in, his big honker in the match, because of the fact that there's a lack of talent with everybody out with injuries. And, most people don't know a lot of these newbies that are coming in. A lot of people who are wrestling fans in this generation are not familiar with AJ Styles or Austin Aries. Could we see Austin Aries make an appearance in the Rumble? They do bring guys from NXT. You look at Rusev from last year, or was it 2014 that he did? Anyways, he came in and nobody knew who he was, and he came in and did pretty damn well. Could we see a John Morrison, one of the acrobats from the Royal Rumble? Does another woman enter the match? A lot of questions are going to be answered tomorrow night. And their speculation is running very rampant. A lot of the wrestling fans don't know what to expect. Then there are those that think they know everything and think they know because he said, she said, they said, everybody said their quote-unquote source proves that it's going to be this person or that person. Who cares? Why don't you just be a wrestling fan, for God's sake, and just watch? I can tell you right now, Hunter don't need it. Will he get it? I can only hope that he doesn't. But as far as the Rumble match itself, the surprises, the matches, those are my predictions on there. But I'm going to throw this over to Austin because I've been wanting to ask him this. Of all things I wanted to ask him. I don't really like talking to the kid, but you know what? I got to ask him anyways because he's been all over and excited about it. I feel it. I feel his excitement. New Japan Pro Wrestling stars are signed by WWE. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, Shinsuke Nakamura. These are new arrivals in WWE. Where do you think they'll go with these guys? Will it be something very similar to a Kevin Owens, a go up the roller coaster and then quickly go down, and then they're just kind of down there at the bottom somewhat with them? Because they're putting them directly into the main roster. No NXT. What are your thoughts, man?
All I got to say is this. They hang out with the Authority, they'll do just fine.
Well, I had to expect that answer. Mike? I don't even know, man. I mean, obviously we knew that Austin was going to go with, well, everybody's got a price for the Authority.
Yeah, Mike knows that all.
But not everybody does.
So can't wait to hear about this.
All right, now, be nice. Be nice.
The kid's all right. He'll be fine. Are you asking me about Austin Aries in coming on with WWE and NXT?
Well, not necessarily just Austin Aries, but I mean with the signing of the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys and the arrival of Austin Aries, new changes coming on the horizon in WrestleMania season. What do you think?
I think Nate said this a couple weeks ago to me, and I firmly believe it. I'm cautiously optimistic about it all because there's so many egos up there, like with Austin's boy Triple H, and it just makes you wonder, how are they going to proceed with this, especially with a guy like Nakamura? Because that guy is money, and I just don't want them to mess somebody like him up. The Austin Aries thing, that chapped my hide yesterday when I heard that news because I'm on Twitter and there's 50 million people going absolutely crazy, like cheering, oh my God, this is so great. Well, yeah, the company he was working for last year, you didn't support. He wasn't all that great then, and all of a sudden now you're just cheering. Oh, he's in WWE. I'm going nuts. And, hey, don't get me wrong. TNA has had their problems. I mean, yeah, we can go there. However, it's like this WWE signs them, the company that everybody seems, well, not everybody, but a lot of people complain about with the 3-hour Raws every Monday, and they're all ecstatic, but it's like these guys, they've been in other promotions, and you may not have supported them as much as now all of a sudden you want to support them, and then the company that they're going to, recently the track record of putting out a great product hasn't been all that great, and I watch it every week, but I'm just saying, so I'm cautiously optimistic about what they do with them, with all the talent, because it worries me. It really does.
Okay. Nate, I got a question for you, sir. News broke within the last 48 hours. Guess who broke it? TMZ. Dun, dun, dun. WWE Hall of Famer Sunny signs a deal with Vivid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, the world's going to come to an end. She is going to show her body off and having sex and getting paid for it. And let's just go hide under the covers and wait till doomsday because hell just froze over. Okay, that being said, what are your thoughts on this new thing with Sunny? Because right immediately that comes to everybody's mind is, does the WWE do one of two things? Do they ban her indefinitely, remove her from their Hall of Fame, or do they decide to let bygones be bygones and, well, number one, let Sunny do her thing, and number two, welcome China home? Because that was the issue that Hunter made about her whole thing about being in the Hall of Fame, was because she had made some adult movies. So, I think. What are your thoughts?
I think Felix, what I think they'll do, because they can be petty at times, is I think they will which outcome is more likely is that they'll shun Sunny. And I think it's just silly. Like, I don't think that, once you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. And we know that there are people currently in the Hall of Fame who aren't the best people. But just because they're not the best people, just because they're not the best people does not mean that they did not have a great impact on this business and the WWE business in particular. So, for me, I think, man, like, I don't give a damn about Sunny doing porn. Like, my bigger issue with Sunny is why she feels the need to kind of run down the current women in the business, because it doesn't do them any good, and B, it makes her look bad. But that's neither here nor there. I just wish the WWE were more upfront about things and like, hey man, like we don't condone what Sunny's doing, but at the same time, we're not going to take this away from her. And furthermore, we're going to do the right thing by China and allow her rightful spot. But like I said at the top, man, they have grudges. They are petty. And sometimes it takes a while for those pettiness, the pettiness and the little jabs that they like to throw at people. It takes a while for that to kind of dissipate. So I think China will get in eventually. I just don't know if it's going to be in the next 2 or 3 years. I think it might unfortunately be a little bit longer wait because, petty is as petty does.
All right. And Mike, recently another news thing broke, and this time it came from TNA Wrestling. Now, the story they broke, and this could be just a publicity stunt, or maybe it did happen, but they decided to make it clear to everybody around the world that they originally had signed or had an agreement for AJ Styles to return home. Coincidentally, when the whole thing started with him being signed by WWE, I think it was just a few days later they started that one from TNA. Now, is this pettiness and jealousy out of the fact that TNA didn't get him, but he's one of their homegrown boys, if you will? What are your thoughts on this whole tactic done by TNA to kind of make AJ look bad?
It's just so funny because I have a question for Nate, but maybe we can save this till after. I actually, after watching the last 3 weeks of TNA, I like what I've seen, and while it's not shattering any records or by no means their heyday, it's good. I'm supportive of them. I want to see them succeed. I want the guys to keep their jobs. To me, the last thing they need at this moment was not the last thing, but the one of the things they don't need right now is that. So I'm like, is this a bad PR move by them at this point? Why would you let that known? Why would you let that be known? Is it that you're you're seeking, you're trying to go after them, the talent for backing out on you. It just makes me wonder why they would all of a sudden break this. Because to me, it doesn't look bad on the talent unless I see some kind of contract that this talent is signed. It almost looks bad on TNA. That's
okay.
my take on it. Like, why would you all of a sudden release this? Are you doing it because you want some goodwill and you want to show your fans, hey, look, we care about you. We tried to lure these guys back. They promised us. They signed a letter of intent. That's what is that what they're looking at? They're thinking that's going to make the fans go, wait, they tried. These guys backed out on them. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic, and Nate's watched TNA and been a fan of theirs for much longer than I have, and it's just it's a weird thing that occurred, and I don't know what their end game is with it. I think that's the question. What's the end game? And that I don't know, but I don't think it's a good look.
Okay. And Austin, this particular question to you.
Well, I mean, I actually want to comment about the AJ Styles thing. I mean, there's been that guy, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Tomorrow night it's going to be the wonderful AJ Styles making his debut into the WWE Squared Circle, and I'm really excited about it. I mean, come on, we have to expect it to happen. I mean, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see the wonderful AJ Styles in WWE.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. I read something here, and I wanted to get your comments on it. That being, supposedly there had been a leaked list for this year's Hall of Fame, possible inductees that could go in. We don't know for sure, but supposedly everybody's a source who has a source and has a source who's in WWE.
Yeah, I have the source.
They have announced names like a John Bradshaw Layfield. They've announced names like the Fabulous Freebirds, Miss Jacqueline, and in the celebrity wing, Regis Philbin. Now, are you disappointed that they named this list? Do you think that this is a good list for Texas?
No.
What do you think we have to look forward to with this?
I'm disgusted, especially with Regis Philbin. Oh. They could have gave it to Kim. She was on WrestleMania 23 or 24, and she did an incredible job as being one of the celebrity guest hosts. And besides that, being a great human being and philanthropist, I think she should get the opportunity to be in the WWE Hall of Fame because who wouldn't want that? WWE Hall of Famer Kim Kardashian. I love the sound of that.
Huh. Okay. And guys, I'm going to get Nate and Mike. These names that got thrown up. I mean, do you think this would be a good list to go in for 2016? Is there missing some names that maybe because it's Texas, we should see these guys enter? Oh, and another name I think I heard, sir, was also Stan Hansen, Stan the Lariat Hansen, who definitely was famous. He's from the state of Texas. But these names, good list, not a good list. Are you pissed that they mentioned it? And before you answer that, I got a quick memo from the Berg. He messaged me and he told me that he's running a little bit late. They've had a snowstorm back east. Obviously, Nate was talking about that.
Sure.
He's actually visiting out there, and he's stuck in what did he say? He's stuck in traffic because the snow's just been kind of crazy. So we're wishing the Berg to just drive carefully. But he does have time, and he will be calling in here shortly to listen to what the stipulations are going to be. Nate and I will name the stipulations and what type of events they'll be having. And he may have a word or two for old Austin Mania here. And I'm sure Austin probably has something to say. He wants to say it to the Berg.
Well, if you're actually waiting in traffic right now, how about you go outside and spell your name in the snow? Keep yourself entertained.
Okay. But I'm going back to
I might as well practice.
Nate and Mike, I want to get your guys' thoughts on the leaked list of possible WWE Hall of Famers this year. What did you guys? We'll start with you, Nate. What do you think, man?
I think it's a solid list. I mean, the Freebirds and JBL definitely belong. And you can't go wrong by putting those guys in Texas. Same with Jacqueline. Regis. It's a celebrity induction, and I'm sure the speech will be pretty fun. So yeah, I think it's overall it's a solid class. And I think the thing that's more interesting to me is who they get to induct these people. I'm thinking maybe Kevin Von Erich inducts the Freebirds. I'm thinking
that's a logical choice.
Maybe in terms of JBL, who probably Cole or Ron Simmons would induct JBL. That's my guess. And then for Jacqueline, yeah. And then for Jacqueline, I don't know, maybe Trish or Ivory, somebody like that, somebody from that era of the women's division.
Okay. Mike, what are your thoughts on this league list of Hall of Famers?
Well, I'm good with the league list. I don't like the. God, I hate to agree with Austin again, but the Regis. That's just come on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you want to insult the world of professional wrestling anymore? I never was a big person on the celebrity wing because, man, a pro wrestler is a pro wrestler. He's somebody who goes in there and gets his butt kicked and freaking throws his body around. Just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you're a pro wrestler or should be in a pro wrestling Hall of Fame. Because it just doesn't make sense. Like, what has Regis contributed to the world of professional wrestling? I can name a ton of other people who are more deserving to be in that hall than a Regis Philbin. I mean, no disrespect to Regis. He's good at what he does. He's not a pro wrestler, though.
Are you a Kathy Lee fan?
Am I what?
Are you a Kathy Lee Gifford fan instead, or a Kelly Ripa fan?
Nah, I don't really care.
You just ain't nobody's giving no love to old Regis. I figure you're a Kathy Lee fan or a Kelly Ripa fan.
No, no, it's not that. Yeah, I like Regis. He's a cool guy, but yeah, he doesn't deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, come on. That's worse than if you throw one of the Kardashians in there.
Oh, don't get us started on that because Austin, we need him going off on a tangent about how deserving this Kardashian deserves to be in there, blah, 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 whatever. Her butt might get in there before her, but that's about all.
That's about it.
Kidding me?
But, ladies and gentlemen, it is now that time. We heard the answer from Austin last week about the stipulation in this upcoming showdown between the Berg and Austin Mania next month. Well, fasten your seatbelts, folks, because he's back. The one and only Saul Rosenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Saul, how you doing?
Oh, God, finally. The Berg has come back to Pipebomb Radio. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody, except you, Austin.
All right. Well, it's been building for months, guys. We Berg and old Austin Mania just didn't click. They started off as friends, or so they made us think.
I tried to play nice.
Their friendship has kind of turned sour. And ultimately, Austin has laid down the gauntlet, or who did start this matchup here? Was it Austin or was it the Berg? I think it was the Berg.
I made the challenge.
But anyways.
Yes, it was me.
Okay. And Nate, we got to come up with a little showdown here between these two. And since they can't physically be in the same area as each other without, well, as Mike would say, flinging baloney at each other, we've got to come up with a match between these two, three different events, and the winner of this event, well, we'll tell you what you'll get. But the loser, here's one of the stipulations right now. The loser of this match is fired. He is no longer allowed on Pipe Bomb Radio anymore from here on out. That is one stipulation.
Are you kidding
big time stakes here?
Are you? No.
I'm very serious. I'm very serious.
Who do you think you are? The boss of Pipe Bomb Radio, the owner, the founder of Pipe Bomb Radio? Who do you think? Come on, really?
As far as Pipe Bomb Radio goes, I am a freaking god. This is my baby.
Hey, Felix.
Yes,
this is the moment where you do the Rob Van Dam and you do the I'm the whole effing show. That's what you tell them right now.
Okay, picture me doing that right now. There we go.
That's right.
And Nate, now that stipulation is in order, have you given it some thought? I know I've been thinking about what kind of stipulations we can have for these guys as far as events, not stipulations. What is one event you would like to see these two battle in? Since they won't get to physically battle, they can verbally battle.
Yeah, since we're doing this, now it's a loser leaves town, 3 stages of hell battle here on Pipe Bomb Radio. I think one of the events, because Austin always talks about how good he is on the microphone and how great a rapper he is, how great a poet he is. I think one of the contests in this matchup needs to be a rap battle.
I can rap better than them all, like in the fall or spring or summer.
Hi, Austin.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. Now, we'll give. That's a good one. The next one we'll do. It'll be a spelling contest. Yes, it sounds corny, but why not see? Let's test it. Let's test their brains a little bit and see how well they can spell, and when they're put on the spot with words they've probably never even used or heard of. So, I mean, something like that. We'll throw it out to them and see how they handle it. Or better yet, what about this? What if we try a trivia? Maybe throw back some wrestling trivia. And maybe have the spelling contest as the tiebreaker between the two. Or I'm sorry, not the tiebreaker, but the final event being the spelling contest. And that way we can do the trivia. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. But we can do a trivia and maybe a spelling. Now, what do you think about that, Nate?
I like that. I think because all 3 contests test a different part of their skill set. Whether it's coming up with something creative and making up some verses, or whether it's the knowledge of the history of the sport and knowing about, some big-time moments, the big-time careers in wrestling, or whether it's spelling, which we all know the Bird can do, but we don't know yet if Austin can spell. So I think those are 3 good tests, Brother Felix.
Okay. All right. I think that'll work. Gentlemen, Austin and Saul.
Yes. You
now hear the different events. Care to comment on any of these 3 events, or all 3? Austin, we'll start with you since you've been pretty quiet through this whole thing. Go for it.
What's there to say? Like, honest to God, is this actually happening? Going to happen because of Rosen, whatever his name is over there.
All right. Yes, it's still going to happen.
I'm speechless. I cannot believe this is taking place. I mean, you guys belong in an insane asylum. Like, oh my God. This is insane.
Well, you should know all about
that. This is a PG show. This stuff like this shouldn't even be happening on what is it called? On that show with all the crazy women. They go and they talk about their babies and DNA tests.
Maury. There we go.
That should be happening on those type of shows, but not on Pipe Bomb Radio. This is a PG show.
Are you pregnant with Saul's baby or something? Is that why you're saying that?
No,
not my baby.
All right. Saul, do you agree to these events for your battle against Austin?
Oh, I'll agree to anything. I mean, if we were in person, we could do the naked twister, which we were originally supposed to do, and that's why this whole thing started. But that's okay.
Oh no!
But,
if that would have happened, Nate could be the referee for that one.
Oh, ooh. That would be interesting.
All right. And Austin, you've made your comments on the actual event itself. Do you accept these terms for your battle against the Berg? Yes or no?
What would happen if I didn't accept?
You don't have a choice.
You forfeit.
And then you're off. Bye-bye.
And that means you lose.
Loser leaves town.
Nah, nah.
Do you think you can't handle the Berg or what? You don't want to try to match with
you know what,
guy? You think he's smarter than you?
You know what, Rosenberg? I accept, but your soul will be put into the fiery depths of eternal hell in a couple of weeks.
Oh, you got me shaking in my boots. Oh, quiver, quiver.
I hope you are. I hope you shake so much you have to go out and go to Walmart and buy yourself a part of, go in the clearance rack and buy some more boots, because I'll take them and shove them up your candy ass.
Hey, this is a children's show. I'm kidding. This is a PG show, guys.
I said
PG
I'm
show.
Shove them up your candy ass.
I got one question, okay? Now,
go for
it. Who's going to judge this contest? Is it going to be the fans, or are you guys going to have like a panelist?
That's a very good question. I'm open to suggestions from Mike and Nate. What do you guys think? Should it be something that the three of us should judge? Should we involve the fans calling in, making their choice, who they want to see win, do they agree they won,
the fans,
and so forth? You're not going to make any friends by saying that.
You already lost, Austin.
You can't trust the fans because they're always giving you chocolates when you're on a diet. Come on. It's nice to them, but I mean, come on.
What? Giving what?
Well, can you trust Mike, Austin? Because if Mike would agree to it, I think Mike would make a fine member of the judging panel.
I love Mike. Mike's he's such a hard worker, booking the territories night and day. I mean, he doesn't tell you how much I appreciate you. And Nate, you're the godfather. Like, come on, that's amazing. That's you look on me though. You look great. I mean, you're so fit, and you inspire me to move on every single day. I eat oatmeal because of you.
Speaking of candy ass, sounds like you're kissing ass.
Yeah, Austin, you're not gonna sway my vote with your compliments. Although I can be swayed with cash.
Yeah.
Hey.
I won't say no to cash. But all right. So does that mean, Mike and Nate, do you think it'd just be something that between the three of us that we can judge ourselves and we decide the winner? What do you guys? Is that what you guys think?
Are you down, Mike?
Yeah, I'm down with that. That sounds like a plan. I mean, like Austin said, I know it all. I booked the territory, so we can make it happen.
You sound like you might be getting ready to book Austin a one-way ticket off this show.
Hey man, that's the upside to being the booker.
And we don't mean Booker T.
That's right. All due respect to Booker T.
All right, I'm going to pose the question to these two gentlemen one last time before we part ways for right now. As we start to prepare for their match, they're going to go mentally and physically prepare for their match. Any final words, gentlemen? I'll start with you, Saul. Any final words you have to say about your upcoming match against Austin? Now's the time. Fire away.
Na. Hey, Austin. Goodbye. Na. Na. Hey, Austin. See you later, freak.
All right, Austin. Any final words for the Berg?
No, I have nothing to say to him. Everything that I'm going to say whatever day that is for the event. You know what? The name of the event doesn't even make any sense. Austin Mania?
No. Hold on. It's not Austin Mania. The Austin Mania is your nickname that we've kind of given to you. The name of the event is 3 Stages of Hell. I think Nate already said that. Well,
regardless of the event's name, the end result will always be the same. I'm staying on Pipebomb Radio. I've got a legacy to make. I've spoken to people like Bruno Sammartino, like Bret the Hitman Hart, who feel it. I mean, you know, I'm good friends with Bret, but I have a legacy to create on Pipebomb Radio, and it's not going to end at the hands of a guy who's going to sell his name.
All right. And just so you guys know, this event will take place February 20th. It's a Saturday. It will be during our Fastlane review show. We'll be talking about the actual pay-per-view event. And in the second hour, we'll figure it out. Nonetheless, we'll have the showdown of showdowns between these two. The three stages of hell. And it's not even hell, it's hell. Like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and prepare yourself. Make sure you have your bologna with you and everything, and you know, get ready. And Austin will get his thing and do his thing and be ready too.
Hey, Felix. Hey, Felix,
sir.
let me ask you a question. Well, if Saul dies in a blizzard, does that mean that I win?
Well, I guess it would now, wouldn't it? Oh, you know
boy,
what I did forget
smart
to mention?
person, boy. Jeez.
Okay, let me just mention one thing I did forget to mention. I think Nate, I'm going to need your help with this. Now we know what's going to happen to the loser. They'll be loser leaves town type of deal. They'll be gone. But what does the winner get?
What does the winner get? That's a good question.
One minute
Okay,
rant while Austin stays silent.
I'll tell you what. Okay, I'm actually going to go in that direction, and I'll tell you what I mean. What if? Now, it's this is just a shot in the dark here, just a suggestion. What if the winner has a show dedicated for them, where we basically would be talking to them about them, what they're doing, and so forth? Corny idea, but it's just an idea I'm throwing out. They will be the guests that we have on our show on an upcoming episode.
The guest of honor.
Possible idea.
I love
What's
that
that?
idea.
I
love
too.
that idea.
The
That is the
best of
greatest
the
thing I've
bird.
ever had. A
The
show
best
all
of the
about
bird.
me.
Okay. Nate,
A
what are your
tribute
thoughts,
show
man?
to
What
me.
is it?
Oh,
I like that. I like that. We have the guest of honor. It'd be like you know, when they do the post-fight interviews. So like we the loser will leave in disgrace and have to walk the walk of shame, but the winner will get 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes of fame on Pipebomb Radio.
Okay. All right. So we know the deal. We know what happens to the loser. We know the
And if Austin wins, I might have to call in sick that week.
All right. Fair enough.
I don't think you have to worry about that, Nate. Don't go out on a limb.
All right.
What happened to the impartial? What happened to the impartial part of this field?
Hey, the event hasn't started yet. This hasn't
Well,
started
these guys
yet.
sound like they already made their decision. That's not fair.
No, nobody's made a decision yet. Oh. Who's going to throw a pitch to who?
Can you guys actually give me your address? Because, you know, I actually forgot late Christmas presents, you know. I forgot about your Christmas presents. I planned on sending them like a while back, but, you know, things have been going. The Royal Rumble, you know, a bunch of stuff here and there. But, you know, get with me after the show.
oh God, I gotta go. My dog just pooped on the rug. Bad dog. I gotta go.
All right, Saul, you take care, man.
Saul was mild
Oh,
tonight.
there he went.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
Saul's saving it for the fight.
Saving it all. I mean, we didn't even get the wait for it. Bird.
Much to Austin's delight, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And there we go. The showdown of showdowns. We're on the road to WrestleMania, but that's not all, folks. We're on the road to hell. Next month. At Fastlane, whatever you want to call it, has the 3 stages of hell. And Nate and myself and Mike will get together and come up with the questions, the words, the song picks, or maybe we'll leave the song picks for the rap battle to the contestants themselves. And it doesn't have to be anything huge like a big 5-minute rap. No, of course not. It can be something simple. And my advice to you, Austin, get with Oscar for maybe you guys can collaborate and he can give you some ideas. Anybody that knows about rapping, it's Oscar.
Trust me. Listen to it. Why get Oscar when you have Kanye West?
I'd rather go with Oscar.
That's too easy.
Yeah, I mean Kanye. Jeez.
I'd rather run Kanye over with my lawnmower. But that being said, guys, as far as what's going on with the Hall of Fame itself. Now, we talked about this briefly last week or a couple of weeks ago. Austin, I'm going to ask you this question because I don't know if I asked you this. I want to kind of get your input on this. And we know Donald Trump is running for president. And they're going to vote on who's going to be president. Obviously, I think this year they're going to vote in November. Do we see Trump in office? And if so, does Trump should he stay in the WWE Hall of Fame or should he be banished?
No, Donald Trump is probably, one of the most innovative people in the world. He's going to become president. He's getting my vote because I remember a couple months ago he said that he will actually make it rain, rain money. So instead he said he was actually going to switch the rain from I don't know how it's going to happen. He has the scientists for the Trump dynasty and everything that's going to help him out with this, but it's not going to be raining anymore. So there's going to be water from the sky. It's just going to be money. It's insane. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I don't know how they do this stuff. But Donald Trump is getting my vote because of that reason. Besides that, he's a Hall of Famer in every right. He's a Hall of Famer in society and human beings in this world. Donald Trump is a leader. Okay? Donald Trump is a man among men.
All right, Mr. Bootlicker. Okay. My next question is to everybody. I want everybody, and I'll even pose my own question about this. Because my own point, I should say. Just recently, there was a big overdone explosion. I swear, people this generation, I have to tell you, people in this generation, you can't say nothing to them because they are so sensitive, so freaking sensitive. And here's my point. Stacey Dash, we all know what she said. She was boycotting the Oscars because there were no African Americans that were nominated or whatever the cause. And everybody comes out of the woodwork and is mad as hell at her. And that's one issue. Next one is former mom on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The one who played the original Vivian, Aunt Vivian, decided to voice her anger, her frustration, her dislike, if you will, towards Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. And I just got to ask, why are people so freaking sensitive? Does it really matter? I mean, I could see both sides of it, but then wouldn't I be raising a tiff if maybe we didn't see Jennifer Lopez nominated or dare I say some Latino artist nominated? Does it matter? I mean, Nate, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Why are people so sensitive, and did this bother you about what was said?
Well, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version because, spoiler alert, Marcus and I did talk about this on this week's Kings of Sport. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can check that out this week, folks. But let's start with the Aunt Viv stuff. Janet Hubert, the actress, who got into it with Jada Smith, who, to me, the real story is, they got legit heat because
they do. Will
Smith got her fired from the Fresh Prince, basically. So she already she's feeling some type of way about Jada anyway. And so, I have, to me, the whole Oscars thing is silly. There's a lot more substantive issues that people could talk about. I think that, the Oscars, the guys that vote on the Oscars are a bunch of old white guys that look like the people on the pitch with the money, and we probably should change it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect anybody. So it's going to change when it changes. But my bigger issue was Stacey Dash, and I love me some Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash has been clueless, and she looks amazing for a 49-year-old woman. But Stacey Dash is and we might get some letters on this, Felix. But Stacey Dash to me is a perfect example of a beautiful woman who should probably not speak a whole lot. Because every time I hear her speak, she reminds me of Austin, like she's living in her own fantasy kingdom world. And she's like, we need to get rid of Black History Month. And I'm like, Stacey Dash, please stop talking. Just smile and look pretty, because that is amazing. You are the Ric Flair of looking pretty, but you are the Brooklyn Brawler of making smart comments. So I think you're right though. People are very sensitive. It's not even sensitive. It's like the outrage Olympics in the current social media climate, where something will happen and then people will get quick to get outraged, and then you've got people that are outraged at the outrage, and it's like this vicious cycle of everybody that wants to see who can yell the loudest. But I think Aunt Viv and Jada, that was a crazy story. And then Stacey Dash, man, I'm like, come on, Stacey. I love you, Stacey Dash, but please be quiet, because the more you speak, they're like, Stacey Dash. That's all I want to say on that feed.
Okay. And no, I agree. You know what? Some people are just better off just not commenting. And
what's the one person I would say, what is it? Better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
There you go. Hey, right there. Because if that were the case, then I think Donald Trump wouldn't be running for president. It seems like every time that fool opens his mouth, he seems to get more popular. He gets more popular.
Did you hear the latest thing? Did you hear what he said today, though? He was like, I could stand in the middle of Times Square and shoot somebody and they would still vote for me. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, Donald.
Right? Mike, I'm curious to hear your take on this.
That's what we need. We need a confident president, and Donald Trump is the man that's going to get the job done.
Yeah, with baloney in his head. We got it. Social media has given everybody a voice, and that's a problem. It's a good thing, but it's a problem. Because like everybody reacts, and Nate actually just said it. So everybody reacts, and then you have the reaction to the reaction to the reaction, and that's like it creates this tidal wave of just nonsense half the time. So it's good in a way, because like we benefited from it with podcasts, and I mean, think about it. It would be much harder to do this without social media and the platforms that we have. However, it gives everybody a voice. Like I get questions from my podcast all the time about why we never bring up politics. I just don't want to touch it. It's not something I want to bring up. We want to talk about wrestling and other stupid stuff. But it's because social media it constantly it gives everybody a voice, and then it gives people who, I shouldn't say this, but who shouldn't have a voice, and it's just a cycle. And then the sharks start eating on the sharks. It's like Nate said, I'm going to react to something that was said. And then this person reacts to the reaction, and then they reacts to the reaction. And I can't think of his name, but he used to work for the San Francisco 49ers. He was the one who first, he's a doctor, it's slipping my mind right now, but he was the one who originally said it's like the electronic lynch mob. That's what he called like Twitter and Facebook. Because of the way people react, and they constantly react, and before you know it, you can't say anything anymore because you offend everyone. And that's the state where we're at. It's crazy, but that's where we're at with social media. Now, going back to what Nate said, Stacey Dash needs to just keep her mouth shut. I hate to say it, but like Nate said, just stand there, look pretty, and just be quiet, and nothing else. And I don't talk about politics a lot, but I will say this about Donald Trump. I don't talk about politics on the air a lot, but I will say this about Donald Trump. He is exposing a lot of bad things in America. And I don't mean from him. I'm talking about some of the audience that's following him. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because it's like you start seeing people that are supporting. It's one thing to support somebody on one topic, right? Because, you know, politics is business. Let's just be real. But you start, it's a work too, just to educate the audience. Politics is a work, but that's another story for another day. But when you start, like, you know, like, it's one thing to support one thing somebody says, but when you start supporting crazy stuff that they say, and like Nate said, the man said he'd shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and they still vote for him. Man, come on, man, think about that. What's wrong with that picture? We ain't talking about throwing baloney at people. We talking about shooting people.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about Trump, though, like, and the Mike is right, like, Trump is one thing in and of itself. And yeah, I think a lot of this is a gimmick, because if you look at Donald Trump, like, 5 years ago, Donald Trump was a Democrat. He was best friends with the Clintons. So it's like, come on, man. Like who you trying to fool, Donald Trump? Like, I think a lot of this is he's putting it on for the people. But the craziest thing is the people that come out for Donald Trump, and it's like most like you know, you vote for who you vote for, but there's some real strange people on the sideline. It's like, Donald Trump said this, so Donald Trump went 10 steps, so that gives me the right to go 100 steps. Like, no, Donald ain't say all that extra stuff that you putting on top of what Donald said.
That's what I was trying to say, Nate. You just said it. That's exactly what I meant.
It's like Donald came to the party. Like Donald came to the party with some weed, and you're like, "Oh, Donald brought weed. That means I can bring crack." Like, no, don't bring the crack, man.
Yeah. You plucking the needle on the syringe because he didn't brought some weed to the party. I'm sorry, Felix. I hope I didn't go too far.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm asking you guys' opinion, and you're giving it to me. And now I'm going to ask Austin's opinion. We all come into this with different points of view, different opinions, different viewpoints,
Donald Trump
politics, and everything else. And I figure I got to be fair. I don't have to agree with it. And by the way, I'll make it known now. All viewpoints given tonight aren't necessarily those of Pipebomb Radio. These are the opinions of the people that are speaking, and that's about it. Now, with that said, Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the whole entire situation is absolutely pathetic. I mean, really.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I don't understand why people are complaining about the Oscars, where they're not complaining about the fact that Caitlyn did not get an Oscar for the I'm Kate incredible inspirational series on E! She's the first ever women's Olympic triathlon winner and an inspiration to people across the world. And I don't care about the Dash woman, or I like Will Smith, but I mean the Dash girl, she doesn't count. Okay? Her opinion doesn't count.
Okay.
The Dash girl.
Okay.
The Dash girl.
All right.
Caitlyn. Because Caitlyn she's the first ever women's triathlon winner, Olympic winner in history, and I think that's incredible. That's incredible, and actually next month they're coming out with the Cake Crate, which is I think $20 a month. It's a subscription box, like Loot Crate. You can be the new normal. And I don't understand the whole situation with that.
I don't think we want to know what's in Kate's crate.
No, we don't.
Oh, you want to know. You want to know about CoverGirl and this and that and the other. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and whistle quietly and walk away from this conversation and ask, first off, as far as this weekend goes, new movies that have debuted, and I went and seen 2 of them today. One of them being The Boy. The other one, Dirty Grandpa. Now then, 2 different types of movies and very different stories. If you are a horror movie fan, this is not for you. This has got to be the most ridiculous movie I've ever heard in my life. I checked it out of pure curiosity. If you like cheesy horror movies, please go watch it, because that's what you'll get. I'm not a fan of the movie. If I had to rate it, I would give it a C-, and I'm being very nice. As far as Dirty Grandpa goes, Well, let's just say if you're a fan of Robert De Niro and the movies he's made over the last 40, 50 years, you'll watch this movie. And it will show a side of Robert De Niro you may never have seen before.
Oh, disgusting. Does he? They show him
and I do not mean. I never once stated that there was any nudity from Robert De Niro, because there's not. I'll tell you that right now.
No, the show's called Dirty Grandpa, and I kind of expect him to jump in the bath eventually. Is that the resolution?
Say what? No. It's a comedy, a raunchy comedy. That's about all I can say. It made me laugh. Mission accomplished. But I'm going to turn it over to you guys, Austin, Nate, and Mike. Have you guys checked out any new movies recently? And if so, how'd you like them? Don't all go at once now.
Man, I watched Star Wars a couple weeks ago. And you know who dies in that movie?
Please don't spoil it.
Oh, okay.
You started to. I could hear it in your voice. No, just kidding. Okay.
They have movie theaters in Houma, Louisiana still, Austin?
Sometimes, I guess it depends on the day.
Oh, okay.
Not many people go see them.
Okay.
Yeah, we have outside movie theater.
Oh, okay.
Drive-in.
Yeah.
See, I didn't think those existed anymore.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's like black and white and everything.
I miss those.
Great Star Wars quality.
Huh. Nate, how about you, man? You been working too hard? Have you been able to make it to a movie recently?
The last movie I saw was Star Wars, and that was right during the Christmas break. But I haven't seen any in the new year yet. But I just been working hard, man, doing all these shows and working my 9 to 5. But I'm trying to think, is there a movie that I'm really interested in coming out here on the horizon? Like, I've seen the previews for Dirty Grandpa, and they look pretty funny. So I may check that out. But no, I can't say that I'm looking to go out to the movies anytime soon. I'm saving my money for front row tickets to Austin Mania. That's the hot ticket in town.
All right. And Mike, have you been to the movies with your kids, with you and your wife, or just you? What's the most recent one that you've checked out?
Star Wars. That's the last one I saw during Christmas. I think it was right after. Last one I saw. Real good movie too. I won't give a spoiler like Austin was about to do.
Yeah. Kylo Ren kills that bug on the ground. He was walking. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off right there, Austin, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Nate. We'll start with you, Nate. What's on the horizon for the Kings of Sports this week, upcoming weeks?
Well, this week on the Kings of Sport, the episode should be out tomorrow afternoon, or maybe even late tonight, depending on when Marcus can throw it up there on iTunes and Stitcher. We'll be previewing the big playoff games from this weekend. We've got a couple of special guests in the building. Efren Guzman, who was on Pipebomb Radio last week, as well as his tag team partner on Atomic Podcast, Eve Cannon, and we're doing our preview of the Royal Rumble. And then Marcus joins us, and we talk about Stacey Dash and Aunt Viv and whatever foolishness is out there on the internet this past week. So that's the Kings of Sport. And Keep It 100 is on hiatus, but you can still hear me on a bunch of other shows. I recently did Place to Be Nation, their Royal Rumble preview on their main event podcast, and Primatech Files. It's a podcast devoted to heroes and Heroes Reborn. So if you're a fan of that show, you can check me out on Primatech Files. It's either this weekend or next weekend, but it'll be coming out pretty soon. So you can check all those shows out, iTunes, Stitcher, and for Kings of Sport, head on over to Facebook.com/The Kings of Sport.
All right. And Mike, what's been on the horizon, or I think you had a show just recently. I think as early as maybe earlier tonight or next week. What's on the horizon for booking the territory? Because I know Austin's just giddy with excitement to find out what you got booking.
Oh yeah, he probably, him and Doc Turner probably would get along real good because they both have these imaginations like a 4-year-old, I think sometimes. But let's see, this week we had on independent star the Manimal, who he works for Hood Slam, he works for Main Event Pro Wrestling in Louisiana and Texas, amongst definitely a few other indies. That dropped on Tuesday on Podbean.com, Stitcher, iTunes, all those. Just search Booking the Territory, you can find it. And then this coming week, I don't know how much Ring of Honor you watch, Felix, but I have on Brian Fury, which I don't know if that name rings a bell for you all, but he's the person who originally trained Sasha Banks and Donovan Dijak, who's in Ring of Honor. He and I recorded just before he entered the Ring of Honor Top Prospect tournament that actually kicked off last Saturday. So he's on this coming Tuesday, and then I've got also the Beer City Bruiser from Ring of Honor coming up in another week and a half, the following Tuesday. They can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Booking the Territory, and then Twitter at BTT_podcast. Do you watch ROH, Felix? I can't remember.
I don't. I know Austin did at one point. I'm not sure if he still does. I tried to watch it a little bit before in the past. I just couldn't stay hooked. Unfortunately, it just didn't. I mean, I watched. Let's just say I watched for a total of maybe 3 months out of a year. So no, I didn't stick.
Yeah. Okay.
But
and I'm getting,
speaking of Austin,
and I'm getting pressure, Nate, still for a Booking the Territory version of Reviewing Impact. Just to throw that out there, Nate.
Actually, yeah, like you said, Impact. It's been interesting. Like it hasn't reinvented the wheel, like you said. But I actually like this past week's show. There's a lot of inconsistency still, and I wish that they had spaced out the story with Matt Hardy. But I liked it. So we'll see where they go. They've still got some pretty good talent down there. So we'll see. We'll see what TNA has in store for us.
Okay. Austin, what you got coming up on the horizon this week?
I've been waiting for so long to say this. I was going to say it at the beginning of the show, but I said, you know what? Heck with it. I'll save the anticipation for later. I want to announce right now that I am entering myself into the Royal Rumble match tomorrow night on the WWE Network. Now, hopefully, I have my plane tickets and everything, but, you never know. There's a blizzard going on. I may or may not make it, but we're hoping for it. I'm going to go to WrestleMania. My mom is going to be so proud of me. She's going to say, Austin, you did me proud. And I'm going to be like, yes, I did, Mom. Holding the WWE title, over my head. It's going to be a great time. Hopefully, I have
Shelton Benjamin and his mama ain't got nothing on you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. I can't wait.
All right.
Yeah, just picture this. AJ Styles versus Austin James. Isn't that going to be great? A potential face-off in the Royal Rumble. Man, okay. I can go over, so many different things.
We'll save that for another time, also.
Face-off.
We'll save that for another time. But as far as next week goes on the show, next week we will actually have Wildcat wrestling star Alex Cruz, who visited us for a very brief moment last year, to promote an upcoming Wildcat show that they were doing, and he was ready to come back and just do a show about him, and we've agreed on a date and time, which will be next week, and I can tell you he's very much looking forward to it, and he will join us next week, folks. So make sure if you're ready to tune in for that one, it's going to be a pretty fun show. And as far as the upcoming week itself, I know that Oscar's got some things in the works for his guest. He's mentioned a few names. I'm not going to say who just yet because I don't know if he's got them locked just for the show. Let me rephrase that. But otherwise, as far as the Royal Rumble itself, it is tomorrow night. The road to WrestleMania 32 is in full effect. WrestleMania season is always one of my favorite times of the year because of all the surprises that from January all the way up until April, you just never know what is going to happen and who's going to show up, who's going to return. It's just a matter of time, and I'm excited for what's to come tomorrow night. I don't care for the title matches. I just want to see the Rumble. It's always been my favorite event. But I think we had a good show here. We gave our opinions kind of went pretty fast because there's just a few matches signed in the Rumble. It could just lead to so many possibilities, so many moments that have happened over the last. I think they said it's 29 years. Yeah, their 29th Royal Rumble match. So, if there's no final words from anybody else tonight, we want to thank everybody who's joined us here. Of course, Mike from Booking the Territory, Austin from the outer realms of your mind. He came back home and visited us for a little bit. And, of course, the visit from his Austin's good buddy, Saul Rosenberg. That's Rosen. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Berg. You hear the stipulation for the match, the different events that are going to be in this match, the date it will be. You don't want to miss out. But for all of us here at Pipebomb Radio, on behalf of everybody here, we want to wish you guys a very, very good night. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Until next time, gentlemen, have a great night. Everybody else have a great night. See you all next week. Good night, guys.
All right, brother.